Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it is your first time here. My name is Jess and today's video is going to be the first of 3 book hauls that I will be uploading in the next few weeks. And if you watched my bookish goals video back in January, then you would be quite right to point out that my main goal for this year was to not buy any books and to simply read the books that I already owned. And so how is it possible that I have not 1 but 3 book haul videos for you? Well, let me explain. This video today is going to be physical books which I have purchased, and they have all been bought with gift cards or money that was gifted to me for the purposes of buying books. So I was given a gift card when I left my previous job back in March. I got a couple of gift cards and some money for my birthday a few weeks ago, and also I got a gift card when I changed my phone contract as well. So all the books in today's haul have been purchased in that way. The second book haul that I'm going to do is an ebook haul. My husband James gave me a Kindle for my birthday, and all the books in that haul were either super cheap, so I'm talking like 99 pence, advanced reader copies from NetGalley, or I got them for free, but I'll cover that more in the second video. And then the final book haul that I'm going to do is a children's book haul, because we are still in lockdown here in the UK, and my 2 children, we were quite lucky that I think we went to the library 2 or 3 days before lockdown officially happened, so we were able to get quite a number of books, but that was nearly 8 weeks ago now, if not longer, and they have read everything that they picked up from the library. They have read everything in the house that is age appropriate, so we made the decision to purchase some books for them. So that final book haul will be those. So that's kind of all the excuses out of the way. Now let's jump in and start talking about some books. So for ease and to stop this video being incredibly long, what I'm not going to do is haul any books that I have purchased but read since January. What I will do instead is I'll just list them out really quickly. I'm just looking at my phone for reference, and then I will link the wrap-ups that they feature in the description box down below, so you can go and find them if you are interested in hearing more of my thoughts. So they are Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo, Blood Orange by Harriet Tice, and Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. Now Muse of Nightmares is the only one I haven't yet done a review of because I read it in May, so that one will be coming soon. And full transparency, I did also buy a copy of Things in Jars by Jess when I went on my March reading retreat, and somehow in between getting all my books out for my summer TBR and standing here to film this video, I have lost that book. So I do own it. At some point I will read it, but goodness only knows, have not got the foggiest idea where that book has gone. I've been all the way back through my unread books and I can't find it, so I do also have a copy of that, but who knows where that is. So the first book I'm going to talk about is The Boneless Mercies by April Genevieve Tucholke. This is YA fantasy, and it's about a group of women who are... I'm really sorry about the light. The sun seems to be doing a weird thing where it's going behind clouds and then emerging and then going behind clouds, so it seems to be making me lighter and darker. We're just going to roll with it. So this is about a group of women who are mercenaries known as death traders, and their job is basically to kill people quickly and quietly, perhaps because they're sick or because they want to die, or sometimes just because they deserve to die. But our protagonist Frey wants more from her life. She wants to be remembered. So when she hears about a monster killing people in a nearby area, she sees it as her opportunity to change her fate. She wants glory, and she sees this as her opportunity to get that. So it says on the back, but glory comes at a price. So yeah, I picked this up because it was recommended for fans of Laini Taylor, Leigh Bardugo, and also the book Children of Blood and Bone, which I absolutely loved. So this sounds like it will be right up my street. It sounds dark, it sounds gritty, and I'm totally here for it. The next book is Anatomy of a Soldier by Harry Parker. This is a book which has been on my radar for many years, and I've never managed to get my hands on a copy, and then I saw it for super cheap in the works and decided to pick it up. So In this book, we are following the story of Captain Tom Barnes. He is in the British Army and he's injured by an IED leading his troops into a war zone, and this is his journey, I think, told from a unique perspective because it's told somehow in connection with a variety of different objects, and I think that it pulls quite heavily on the author's own experiences because he was in the British Army and he served in both Iraq and Afghanistan. I've heard nothing but fantastic things about this book and I'm very pleased to have a copy. I can't wait to read it and see for myself what it's all about. Next we have the tome that is Tombland by C.J. Sansom. This is historical fiction. It's the next one in a series of books about a hunchback lawyer called Shardlake, and when the series begins, Shardlake is inadvertently pulled into service for King Henry VIII. This book is set during 1549, so 2 years after Henry VIII has died, and Shardlake is still working in service to the crown, this time for Queen Elizabeth. And I really enjoy these books despite the fact that they seem to be getting bigger and bigger as the series progresses. Shardlake himself is just a really likeable character. There are lots of interesting side characters. C.J. Sansom really captures the time period incredibly well, but there's also a mystery thriller element to these books, so Shardlake is always going off to investigate something, be it a murder or a theft or just something questionable, and there's always something else happening in his personal life to go alongside it as well. They're just really well written, really good. I like the blend of the mystery thriller with the historical fiction, and yeah, they're very enjoyable books, so had to pick the next one up. Then we have Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James, and this was a little bit of an impulse buy because I've not seen or heard about it anywhere, but just reading the back really intrigued me and I decided to pick it up. So it is fantasy in an African inspired setting. So I'll just read you what it says on the back because I think that it probably does a better job of summarising what the book is about than I could do. So it says, Tracker is a hunter, known in the 13 kingdoms as one who has a nose, and he always works alone. But he breaks this rule when he joins a band seeking a lost child. His companions are strange and dangerous, from a giant to a witch to a shape-shifting leopard, and each hides their own secrets. As they follow the boy's scent, from perfumed citadels to infested rivers to enchanted darklands, set upon by murderous foes, Tracker wonders, who is this mysterious boy? Why don't people want him found? And crucially, who is telling the truth and who is lying? So yeah, as I said, I've not heard anybody talking about this, but it just sounds super interesting, and I wanted to pick up a copy while I could. So yeah, another one that I hope to get to quite soon actually, because I just think it sounds fascinating. Then we have Tidelands by Philippa Gregory. I am a huge Philippa Gregory fan, although it has been quite a while since I picked up one of her books. So this is historical fiction. It's set during 1648 when Britain is in the middle of a civil war, and we are following the story of Eleanor, who is descended from wise women, and we meet Eleanor on one night when she is in a graveyard waiting for the arrival of a ghost who will release her from her abusive husband. And while she's waiting, a man called James appears in her life. I think he is fleeing from something, and Eleanor leads him across the marshlands and allows him to escape. And then we're following Eleanor's story basically as a single woman, and 1648 is also around the time when Britain was kind of in the middle of witch mania, so I'm guessing that as a single woman, if she's descended from wise women, she's going to have knowledge of healing and herb lore and that kind of thing. I'm pretty certain there's going to be some kind of witchcraft element to this book, perhaps even a little bit of magical realism. As I said, it's been a while since I picked up a Philippa Gregory book. I do enjoy her historical fiction, so I'm interested to see what I think about this. I've heard very good things, so yeah, we shall see. Next up we have The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. Can we just take a moment before I start talking about anything else to admire how gorgeous the cover of this book is. So this, I think, is fantasy or it's magical realism, and we're following the story of a young girl called January, who is the ward of a wealthy gentleman, and I think that he is very well off but very remote and distant, and he collects all kinds of random trinkets and artifacts in his house. And one day while she's exploring, January comes across a book. I'm not too sure whether the 10,000 Doors of January, whether they are physical doors or whether they are just doors that she goes through in terms of the book that she has come across, and therefore what she reads, whether she's just transported in her mind into these different worlds. I'm not really sure, but what really sold it for me was on the back. It says, a gorgeous aching love letter to stories, storytellers and the doors they lead us through. Absolutely enchanting. So yeah, I don't know, as I said, I don't know whether it's physical or just intellectually, but it sounds incredible. It's a gorgeous cover, and yeah, I wanted to pick it up. Then we have a book which was 100%, not even gonna lie about it, completely a cover buy. I have seen nobody talking about it. I've never heard of it before. I was browsing on Amazon and just decided to pick it up and see what I thought. So I picked up A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. This is a Sherlock Holmes novel, and basically it is the story of the great granddaughter of Sherlock Holmes, Charlotte, and it says on the back she has inherited not only Sherlock's genius but also his volatile temper. So at some point the Holmes family have upped sticks and moved across the pond to America, because this is set in Connecticut. But the twist is that the great grandson of Dr. Watson is also present, and he is called Jamie. They don't like each other. Jamie and Charlotte don't like each other, but somehow some mystery, some murder is going to throw them together and they're going to have to work together. So this is contemporary with kind of a murder mystery twist to it. I don't know how much it pulls on the original Sherlock Holmes novels. I really know very little about it, other than that I thought that the cover was really beautiful and it does sound like a fun, easy to read story, so I thought I would pick it up. It doesn't seem that complex. It's always good to have light, breezy books on your shelf, isn't it, to pick up when you just need something a little bit easier to read. I'm sure that this will fit the bill. It says on the back, equal parts tender, thrilling and hilarious. So we will see. Next up is a book that I decided to pick up because of the wonderful Katie from Life Between Words and her recent rave review. It's a book which had been on my radar, but I'd kind of gone backwards and forwards over whether it would be for me, and then I saw her rave review and we have got really similar reading tastes, and I trust her reading tastes implicitly. So if she says a book is fantastic, then 9 times out of 10, probably even more than that, 99% of the time it's going to be a book that I enjoy. So I'm talking about A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles. This is historical fiction. It's set during the 1920s and we're following the story of Count Alexander Rostov, who is basically one day escorted from the Kremlin, walked across into a hotel and placed under house arrest, and we're following his story as he watches the world go by through the window of his hotel. And I know very little about it other than that. I literally picked it up because she said that it was fantastic, so we will see. I'm very much looking forward to reading it. I'm hoping to pick it up soon. I will let you all know. Another book which I picked up after seeing someone's rave review, this time a lovely lady that I follow on Instagram called Ali. She is The Sunday Feeling. I will leave her Instagram tag down below. I knew nothing about this book, but I kept seeing it pop up time and time again in her stories, so I thought that I would just take a punt and pick it up. So I'm probably going to get this wrong, but it's The Truth About the Harry, I want to say Quebert Affair by Joel Dicker. So August 30, 1975, the day of the disappearance, the day Somerset, New Hampshire lost its innocence. That summer, struggling author Harry fell in love with 15-year-old Nola Callaghan. 33 years later, her body is dug up from his yard along with a manuscript copy of the novel that secured his lasting fame. Quebert is the only suspect, but with Nola in death as in life, nothing is ever as it seems. That is all I know. Literally what it says on the back, and the fact that it just kept popping up again and again, and Annie just kept saying how fantastic it was, so I decided to pick it up. We will see what I think. It's quite a weighty big book. I mean, I'm not put off by big books, but normally books this size are fantasy. But yeah, interested to see. I think it's also now a TV show with Dr. Dreamy in it from Grey's. I don't know, maybe way off the mark there, but I really feel like that's correct. But yeah, we will see. Just another one to add to my ever-growing pile of books to be read. And the final book that I'm going to talk about is The Lovely War by Julie Berry. Now, this is a World War II novel about 4 individuals, but it has a rather giant twist in it, I believe, in that somehow the lives of these 4 individuals are also being controlled by Greek gods. And that alone for me was enough to pique my interest and make me think that I really needed to know what this book was about, because the blend of Greek mythology with World War II historical fiction somehow coming together into a novel just sounds so fascinating, and I have got no idea how it's going to work out, no idea really beyond that, and that's kind of all it says on the back. It says their story as told by goddess Aphrodite, who must spin the tale or face judgment on Mount Olympus, is filled with hope and heartbreak, prejudice and passion, and reveals that the war is a formidable force. It's no match for the transcendent power of love. I mean, do I need to say anything else? It's just going to be interesting to see how on earth such different genres and subject matters can be blended together into a novel. I'm totally fascinated, totally here for it. Cannot wait to pick it up. Although I somehow managed to buy the biggest paperback copy of this book ever. It's huge. But yeah, fascinated to see how this is going to play out. So there you go, they are the books that I have picked up recently, as explained at the beginning. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please think about subscribing to the channel, give me the thumbs up, let me know if you've read any of the books that I've hauled today and what you thought about them. Let me know if any of them should immediately go to the top of my TBR. I always love to chat more in the comments with you guys, as you know. So yeah, thank you for watching and I'll see you all soon.